Hello all, this is again Dr. Mrinalini Dodke. In continuation to my video on business analytics now and then, this video will talk about data warehousing, a precursor to business analytics. I have been talking to a lot of people, especially students community who are doing their MBA or who are doing their masters in data sciences. A couple of things I have pointed out while talking to these students is that they have an understanding that business analytics projects will initiate with the data which is readily available. Fine, for a particular problem which has very few variables, in that case, you will be given the ready-made data, and on that data, by applying any tool, you can do business analytics. But if you see the business environment is very complex and it is dominated by huge number of variables. Unless you capture these variables, the correct picture of business analytics will not be clear. So, when we are talking about business analytics, I thought it will be a good idea to tell all the students community that business analytics it needs a good data representation, and that's where the role of data warehouse comes into picture. I have seen couple of data warehouses implementation and actually handled data warehouse implementation for MNCs. The transaction system, which is usually nowadays very stable in most of the organization, it feeds the data into data warehouse. But there is a whole lot of difference between the transactional system and your data warehouse system, because your transactional system is a OLTP system, which is online transactional processing system, and your data warehouse is OLAP system, which is online analytical processing system. Now, the origin of data warehouse can be seen since 2000 and all. The need was generated because the business wanted not the data, they wanted information, and that's where the data warehouses came into picture. Now, the structure of data warehouse is altogether different than your transaction system. While your transaction system talks about business transactions such as sales order, purchase order, or maybe inventory reduction or inventory reports, your OLAP system or data warehouse system, it will talk more on information, that is how my customers are doing, what is the product sold across the product group and across the region. So basically the focus of data warehouse is on capturing the subjects and then drill down to dimensions, and for these dimensions what are the facts. For example, if you take customers as one of the subject, then in data warehouse a business would be interested in knowing what is the sales done year on year for specific country or for specific region. So here we are not talking about a sales transaction, here we are talking about customer as a subjects. So this type of data, when we want to have it in data warehouse, uh, it is done through a methodology, it is done through a process, and there are defined data warehousing methodologies which we will not discuss in this particular video. But the message to the student community is that data warehousing is a precursor to business analytics, and there is a structure, there is a method for having a data warehouse in place. So there are tools which are specifically made for extracting the data from your transaction system. As I said, your transaction systems are varied and they are in large numbers. So if you consider any MNC, of a retail business, then in that case, typically it will have presence across all the region, or maybe for that matter globe also. So if you're talking about such a big companies like Walmart, or maybe another company like Carrefour, so there the presence is all over the globe, and we are now talking about having the data into data warehouse of subjects like customers, like products, like regions, like countries. So it becomes very necessary to extract the data from all source system and put it into data warehouse. Now there are special tools which are there available in the market to extract the data from data warehouse, then to transform it and load it into data warehouse. So depending on the business requirement, whether you want the data real time or you want the data in batch format, the architecture of data warehouse will change. So once this data warehouse is ready with all the necessary requirements of the business, then only the business analytics project will start. Now business analytics is one of the part of business intelligence canvas. So business intelligence canvas is very wide. It starts from data preparation, then prepared data has to be stored in a data warehouse, and then on this data warehouse you have a decision support system, which you also called as business analytics. Now once this data is there in place, then only you can do descriptive analytics or you can do predictive analytics. So the message to the student community is that unless and until you don't have the variables which are impacting the business in your data warehouse or in the data which you are going to extract and analyze, you will not get the correct trends. So that's where it is always necessary that data warehouse has to be there in place when you're talking about business analytics. I suppose the need for data warehouse in order to work on business analytics project is understood to all the students through this video. Thank you.